Let's talk about the mixed load setting on your washing machine. I'm going to tell you what it is and what garments you should put in this setting. There are some garments that really don't like this setting, so we're going to go over that as well. So first of all, mixed load, it refers to a mixed load of fabrics, not a mixed load of colors, just so you're aware of that. Don't make that mistake. The fabrics that goes well in this setting is your more sturdy fabric. Think your cottons, linen, denim is going to be perfect for this one. Also some, I would say, synthetic blends could handle it. But if you're going to go with the synthetic blends in this setting, you want to go for a little bit of a lower temperature. So the idea behind this setting, like I said, is that you can combine multiple fabrics. You do need to avoid any delicate garments in this setting. They really can handle it. This setting uses significantly higher temperatures than some of the synthetics can handle. We're talking about 30 to 40 degrees Celsius, which equates to this much in Fahrenheit. Also, it agitates pretty heavily, as you probably know, or if you don't. Cotton and denim, they need a lot of agitation to get cleaned out. So if you put some delicate garments in with this, they're going to be too damaged. Also, it uses a pretty high spin cycle. The spin cycle is the part of the wash where it spins out all the water, right? And the faster you spin the clothes, the more water is going to be dispersed. But also it is pretty tough on your clothes, especially at the higher spin settings towards the top. So because of all this heavy agitation, spinning and temperature, this is going to work great for clothes that are pretty heavily soiled, even medium to heavily soiled. If they're not as soiled as this, you could probably crank down some of the settings a little bit. So as you probably can imagine, this is going to be very advantageous if you have a bunch of different clothes that you really just need to wash. That way you can put them all together in one setting. So that's going to save both on your time, your wallet, and it's also going to save the environment, since, well, just using one cycle is going to conserve a lot more than using multiple cycles, right? I'm not saying that this is a cycle that is very eco-friendly on its own, since it uses pretty much resources, but since you can combine so many clothes into one wash that you may have to put into 2 or 3 washes if it weren't for this cycle, it is a great eco alternative in the right situation. There are some significant drawbacks to this cycle though. I want to go over them so you're aware of it. First of all, color bleeding can be a problem with this cycle. Anything above 20 degrees Celsius is going to be prone to color bleeding. Also, on top of this, since the garments are pretty heavily agitated, that is also going to contribute to color bleeding. I will also say that you have to separate coloreds from whites if you're going to use this cycle, or otherwise your white clothes are going to come out looking weird. Problem that people also have using this cycle is that they tend to overload the washer, since you can put so many different clothes in there, right? It's easy to just, let's just stuff it all in there. But you want to be careful with this, because first of all, if you overstuff your washer, it's going to damage your washer over time. Secondly, your clothes are not going to be completely clean because there is no room for the water to work, like they're too squeezed together. Combining multiple different types of fabrics, fabric weights, it does come with some drawbacks. As you can imagine, a cotton garment is going to handle a lot more agitation than what synthetic blend is. On the other hand, a synthetic blend is going to clean a lot easier than what a cotton is going to, and a denim is different from that again. So what's going to happen is that you get kind of a middle ground there. You don't get a perfect wash for each of the garments. So you may want to experiment with this. On top of this, also, when you put together a lot of different fabrics, especially fabrics of different weights, what can happen during the wash, especially during the spin, or if you put them together in the dryer afterwards, is that the heavy clothes are going to weigh down on the light clothes, and that's going to cause significantly more creasing than what would happen if you put clothes together of the same weight. It's not really the biggest problem, but it is something to keep in mind. And I think you should start experimenting a little bit with this. See what works for you. If you're going to use this cycle, perhaps you find out that maybe we don't put the synthetics blends in there. Also, I want to just cover this quickly. These clothes should not go in with the mixed cycle. Think all your delicates. That includes anything with lace, embroideries, embellishments especially. It's just gonna end up a mess. But also, let's say pure synthetics, avoid that in this cycle. Any sports clothes. Also, any wool, avoid that, and any silk. If you see any fabrics that are really thin as well, that's going to count as a delicate, so avoid that in this cycle. Beyond that, I will say that this is a fantastic alternative and one that you can experiment a little bit with if you haven't used this a lot. It has a really nice niche, like all of these different programs do, right? And it can save you a little bit of money as well. And time, not to say the least. If you want to see more of these washing machine guides, I have a big playlist with endless videos now. I think it's 30 videos in that playlist alone. Also, I have this cheat sheet that you can download. If you go to organizing.tv/cheat sheet or press the link down in the video description, it'll send you like a cheat sheet with all the best ways to save money. I cut my laundry cost in half by implementing all these things. So something to consider. Anyway, hope you liked this video and I'll see you in the next one.